Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from godfm, and today I want to talk about any light. Any light. So all lights, including lamps, I have found are the main problem if you're a targeted individual. And I want to talk about that because at night you want a light on. Now I've found that the wiring that these people have added to the house is wiring of the earth wires for the lights. And then what they've done is they've used the lights as the main control center for the torture of me. Anyway, probably for you too. If you're a targeted individual and you're tortured every day in your home, then it'll be through the lights. If you rent a property, then it's very difficult to, have that removed. So what you end up having to do is defend yourself in your own home against your own lights, because the child eater, blood drinker, psychopaths have been doing home invasions and modified all of your lights. They've also modified all of your plug sockets as well. But today I'm talking about the lights. So what I want to tell you is that I get terrible backache, neck ache, bum ache. The bed shakes, the washing machine. And it's all about the neighbor putting on his light and facing it at my toilet pipe, which is a wide area into the house. Okay. And it sounds unbelievable, but where the toilet pipe comes in, there's an opening. And obviously they've got all the things in the drains. And I've always found it through the toilet. Everything. Okay, so it is connected with toilets and drains, and then he points the light at the drain, and then from the drain has a window, and then a door, and then the smart meter when I look at it. And so I know that when I put up my blackout blinds on those windows, it stops a lot of this. I also know that when I shield against my own lights, it stops a lot of this. And lamps also, I have taken apart, because I take things apart, and inside the lamps I have found extra wiring that they have added. And it's the joins of the wiring that seem to be able to read a room. So if you read on the World Economic Forum about them wiping your mind and reading your mind, and giving you the mind of a feline, and basically you'll have to purchase your intelligence. The mechanism for doing this is through the lights, believe it or not. Lights are your new Wi-Fi, and they operate on the same frequency as microwave lights. If you're getting me, then you'll have an understanding of why they are painful. And the wires are able to read a room, the points of the wires that are open. So if you cut the plastic off and then you've got your little bit of wire, they can read a room. They don't need to be in a plug. They don't need to be in a socket. And I've actually found it with wiring that is not connected, that it seems to emit radiation. And this is because they've connected it to something else. So I've got lots of oddments of wires in my home that don't go anywhere. What they do is they overexert the wiring so that it's emitting frequency and microwave light frequencies. Plug sockets as well, but mostly lights. And what will happen with plug sockets is they will display as if they're live all the time, because how can I explain it? It's had a voltage that's so powerful running through it that it's confused the plug socket. And the plug socket's like, I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm live all the time now. So when my plug sockets are off, they're still live. And when my electrician came over, he said to me, there was this plug socket, and I knew it was a problem, actually. And he said, oh, I mean, this plug socket seems to be a problem. It, can't get it off. So he took it off, and he changed it. And he said, oh, this plug socket's live all the time. Must be a fault with the plug socket. And I said, yeah, I don't think it's a fault with the plug socket. I think these guys possibly have swapped the plug sockets around as well as mess around with all the lights. Very interesting. So I've then thought, well, possibly it's the LED lights that I'm having problems with, because I'm sensitive, right? And the ringing is through the lights, and the pain and the shaking is through the lights. How do I know? Well, because I make machines with coils and magnets, and I put them on top of the lights, because I've got ones that sit on the wall. And a lot of this stops. So I'm like, okay, so this is the lights. And maybe that's why the neighbor's pointing the light at my home, because the laser weapon can send inside the laser light is code, believe it or not. And the code activates all of the pre-programmed torture that is in your home. Okay? So the laser, all they do is to point the laser at a light, and they can switch everything on and off through the lights, because all of the torture devices that they've rigged up are through the lights. Okay? And lights are the same wiring as speakers mainly. Like my lamp is 2 wires. Okay. Like I said, take things apart, and I can only tell you what I know. I'm limited. I'm not an electrician, but I'm able to stop a lot of this based on, checking things out and whatever. I've got a lamp in my kitchen. I like lamps. When this first started, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to use the lights. I'm going to use lamps. So then what they thought is they would take all the lamps apart, rewire them all, and put something in them or do something to them, so that they also now are torture devices, making it very hard to have the lights on in my home. All right. So what I did first of all is, as I say, I've taken lamps apart and I found additional wiring inside the lamps, and also other devices like microwaves and smoothie makers, a toasting machine, one of those where you put the 2 ends together and you make toasted sandwiches. I took one of those apart, and there was so much additional wiring. The original wiring that came in was fed through to 7 or 8 additional wires that had been added, and I can tell you that every time I used it, I had problems, and afterwards from the socket I used. And it's related to the socket you use with that device as well. So if you use a torture device like a toaster or a microwave or a kettle, because those are all torture devices. I've already told you, don't have a kettle, don't have a toaster, because they rig up all the torture in those devices. When I've plugged those in, I've had problems from the plug sockets I've plugged them into, because I'm on a home network that someone else is running in my house. I've already proved that by putting Wi-Fi extenders in the plug sockets, and I've got Wi-Fi in my home, internet in my home already without my own router. So this is how they take over the router that I have by their own network, which is running as a gateway between my network and the outside world, right? It's the same as what they do with the telephones and the SIM cards, from my understanding, right? So with the lights, as I say, I've got an EMF detector, and I tested the lights, and the EMF of the kitchen light, which doesn't work, is so high, it's 1600. So I've had to shield that light because I get really bad headaches when I sit in the kitchen, and this is a full-time, full-scale attack because they've got to follow you around as well. She's out the kitchen, she's gone to bed, right, turn on all of the torture devices in the bed. That's why it's a full-time, having the neighbors participate in this, right? And so tried all sorts of different light bulbs and had some joy by spraying them silver. And that really helped. And I've also tried taking the light bulbs out. And then what I found is then the ringing gets very loud, much louder than with the light bulbs in. And then they really do take over that circuit. So that's a problem as well. So in a way, you have to use it so that they can't use it. So what I've done before, if I don't want to be tortured and cooked alive all night long, is I'll switch on all the lights, I switch off everything else, and the fans, and just sleep with the fan on. And that helps as well. I've heard the slamming of the doors next door when I've done that, so I know that that's pissed them off. Now the fan doesn't work in the bathroom because they've taken over that part of that wiring. This is the same as what happened at my old house. This is how I can talk from experience. I'm not making it up. I'm not crazy. This is exactly what happened at my old house when this all started. I said to God, what is this? He said, it's the lights. And immediately I switched off the lights and I had peace. And then they wired up the lights so that the lights were on and emitting frequency even when they were powered off. And that's how the on but off started in my property. And I found that it was all connected with the Wi-Fi as well. And the TV. And so swapping the sockets round, plugging the TV into an extension lead into a different socket would mean that they couldn't hack me. These things I couldn't understand. But I've tried different methods, plugging in my router into an extension lead into another plug socket. And then they're not hacking me. Same with the fridge and the washing machine. Plug it into an extension lead. And then the torture devices don't come on because they've synchronized it to certain plug sockets. So one light will be related to one plug socket and utility item like fridge or whatever. So lights can see into the room. Lights are also Wi-Fi. They are also what emit the frequencies. And they are also what cook you. And they are also what torture you. They do a combination where they put things in the water, and then the lights activate the nano in the water and the nano that's inside you, that's crawled up your bum or your vagina or your willy when you've been on the toilet. Because this has been put in all the drains, and if you're targeting an individual, then it would have been put in your water supply and in your food. Because this is a hands-on, full-time, full-scale harassment, stalking. I'm a witness to it. I'm not making it up. I've interviewed dozens and dozens of people who are same as me. We're not all imagining it. So their favorite thing is to take over your telephone number, mobile, and then run the Wi-Fi that you've paid for through your mobile network. And that's why your Wi-Fi is so slow. Because I found that when I phone myself on my own mobile, my Wi-Fi speeds up. So it's got to be related. Yeah. Okay. So I've got 2 WhatsApps, and I'll phone myself on WhatsApp, and I'll just stay on the phone while I'm uploading videos so that my Wi-Fi really connects to my Wi-Fi and not through the mobile network, which that's the main way they get into your phone, through the mobile networks, because nobody regulates them. Nobody regulates that fake telephone masts have been erected, and nobody regulates that their Wi-Fi, their free Wi-Fi and internet is safe. And it isn't safe because it's all through the lights. So your public Wi-Fis and cameras are all connected through the public utilities and the grid system. And this is also connected through BT Cyber, BT, what is the other one? Open Reach into your mind, right? They do tell you what they're doing. And then you've also got all of the mobile networks providing you with free Wi-Fi. And some of the people who get Wi-Fi through those providers are also providing a hub for Wi-Fi as well. But back to the lights. The lights cause the shaking. So in my old house, my bed backed onto a bathroom, which had a mirror and some lights built into it, one of these old-fashioned things. And they would hook everything up to those lights and that fan in that bathroom. So I would disconnect all of it and find a way to switch it off. And then my bed wouldn't shake. One side of the bed shaked from one of the lights, and one of the sides of the bed shaked from the other light. And I did this through experimentation of switching on the light on one side, lying in the bed, and then going, that causes that side. Go and switch the other side on. That causes that side. So it is all the lights. I've already done my assessments. And it's amazing to think that a light would be able to shake your bed, isn't it? So the lights that they're pointing at you outside are on the same frequency bandwidth, if you like a radio station, as your lights inside, because they've been in and they've rewired everything and modified it all so that the neighbors aren't affected by it, but you are, because it's all synchronized to your house. So, for example, when I go out, if I go out and I've got my mobile phone on and I've got my SIM card in, they will synchronize everything between my phone and the house, even though I'm out, and suddenly I'll get backache, neck ache, bum ache, ankle ache, feet ache, because it's through the mobile network. And I didn't realize this before, but I have realized it now. And what this means is, because they've taken over the mobile networks and they've hijacked the and telephone numbers as well for any targeted individual, so that they've got the numbers. And then once they're in your phone, they get into your Wi-Fi, they're uploading and downloading, they're seeing all your passwords, they put ARM64 on it, then they upload My Spy, and they get all of your communications, and they get a duplicate of your device anyway, and they can clone your phone through TapTap and all of this. And that's why you got all the little Indians here, all right, because they're good at hacking and breaking in. It is simple. In England, anyway. As I think that, a lot of the activities that happen, one feeds the other thing. So if you can get one of the things off, then the rest can't go on. And so this is only done through experimentation. In my case, I've gone, right, when the kitchen light worked, I found that if I left the kitchen light on, they couldn't run their stuff because everything was hooked through the kitchen light. And I'd always hear people on top of the flat roof on top of my kitchen. And that was also the entrance hall light wouldn't work when the boiler was on. So I knew that the entrance hall light was connected to the boiler somehow. But that's not how it should be on normal electrics, because my electrician thought it was odd. I said, it's every time I run the boiler, the lights go, and the light for the entrance stops working. So, but this is on the flat roof as well, the entrance. And so this is the climbing up on the roof and all this kind of nonsense. On flat roofs, you've got a bit that folds on the top off the side of the wall. And I believe they've been in and done stuff in the roof that way to access wiring. So I've got a globe, for example, of the Earth, and it's a pretty light, but they've done something to it so that when I run it, I get headaches. And the other lamp in the kitchen, the same. I get a live feed from that and from the other one, even if it's not switched on and even if it's not plugged in. When I get my electrical tester, I touch the lamp and it says that it's live. And the globe. I haven't tested all the other lights, but I'm sure it'll be similar. So I often buy new lights and throw away old lights because I believe that they can switch on things that are not even plugged in and not switched on. This is wireless electricity that we don't know about, because they're already operating this in some of the European countries with wireless lights that don't need to be plugged in, and they can be switched on and off remotely through the Wi-Fi, because this is microwave technology. So this, from my point of view, is very dangerous. This is why I'm talking about it. Okay. So, for example, Mark Steele talks about the lights that are in the road. And he took one apart. He said, this is a weapon and it's dangerous. It's going to cook you alive. And it will. I want to tell you that the meningitis, eyes exploding, blood coming out of the eyes is all connected with the lights. And they emit a frequency that causes the ringing in the ears because of the decompression of the brain, because of the swelling of the brain. Because it's serious. Okay, because your brain hums at its own hum. And so if you emit loads of frequencies at someone's brain, its brain will eventually explode. It is actually that simple. A bit like, when you get a glass and you rub a finger round and round and it emits a sound. And it can actually break glass. Right. So this is the type of thing that we've got going on with the lights. Now, we're not all experts at microwaves and how they operate, but basically a microwave is a box with a light and some magnets, and then also a transformer. But without the box, that would cook you inside out. And so, for example, if I'm cooking something in the microwave, I don't always know it's cooked until it's really cooked, you know. So when they're cooking you, they don't know that they're cooking you to the level they are, and also they're not really bothered either about safety, because this technology is not known about and it's not regulated, because they're keeping it a big secret, right? And this is why it's hard to prove that this is happening. But the ramifications are quite massive, and the results of being tortured are things like being disabled. Your leg won't work anymore. You know, can't move your leg anymore. Your back is sore because they're cooking you from the inside out. Okay, so to give you an example, last night I switched off all the electricity and I was ready to go to bed. And as I was walking, I could see all the frequencies. So I want you to try this. What you do is you get in bed and you close your eyes. And normally there's just blackness. In a normal environment without radiation, it's just blackness in your eyes. But if someone is pointing loads of lights at you, you can actually see like flashing, buzzing. It's almost like a buzzing of fuzz, like a TV in your eyes. But some of it can be red and green and blue and white. And so I walked around the lounge and I could see all of that fuzz. It wasn't just black. So I knew that there's radiation going on in my lounge. Okay. People have told me I don't need an EMF detector. I am one. I can feel the vibrations and I can see them. As I went up the stairs, it got worse. Then as I came up to the top of the stairs, it got a little bit better. And the window curtains were open. And it wasn't so bad. But the light coming in from outside was so bright that it lit up part of the ceiling and the wall of my home. So then I thought, and I would close my eyes as I was going to bed, and it wasn't plain black, it's lots of fuzz. So I'm like, this is... And the whole bed was vibrating. And it was sounding like there was a machine. And there was a humming as well, like a grinding noise. So it's like... And I haven't got anything running. Everything's off. I don't live in an industrial estate. My bed's shaking. We've got ringing. And it's all going on. So, put up the blackout blinds. And it all stops. Because it's the neighbors who are pointing the laser lights at your home to activate encoding with the written instructions that are built into a laser to upload to your smart meter. So basically, this is technology we don't really understand, but it's all through the lights. I also want to tell you that the HARP and CERN, or same thing, has also been emitting funny lights into the atmosphere. And we've also got weird, strange flying objects pointing laser lights directly at the ground and at the tops of people's houses. If you know about alien abductions, aliens are demons. They can abduct people through the roof without coming in the house. So this is the kind of technology that we're dealing with. When abductions happen, the radios stop working. Okay, and TVs stop working, and everything goes, and it was all a bit weird. The electrics go. All right, so this is the same technology that they're using. It's the sort of alien technology, and that's why I can't get a radio signal in my home. When I switch on the radio, it's kind of nonsense, right? Unless I put the aerial facing inside my home, not outside the house, because somebody is pointing loads of frequencies at my house with lights, laser lights, and they do it with lights that you can't see. So on the 007 films, when they want to break into a great mansion and steal something, there's laser lights which they use as part of the security system, which are invisible. And they have to practice so that they can break in and steal this valuable item, maneuvering around the invisible laser lights. And you might have seen those sort of films. So that's the laser lights that we have as well. They may be invisible, but they're still harmful. And so it's all about lasers. And your lights are emitting laser as well. So you can cut a tree down with a laser light. Yeah. And you can also laser an image onto a disk for a computer with the little light inside the computer. Huh? Are you getting me? And your brain is a computer. And so basically, this is how they are going to achieve the memory wipe of all the people. Then the data is transferred through the lights to the data centers, where your consciousness is transferred and stolen. Your memories and your mind, your operation of your brain, is hijacked and put into the data centers. And then you haven't got, how can I put it, any idea. Well, the people around you don't know. But I have a funny feeling the people that have been hijacked are no longer here, and they've woken up in a different place. That's what I think. Because I've spoken to my neighbors who have told me that they've had washing machine sounds and vibrations from their beds, like me. And then a couple of months later, I've asked them about it, and they've said, I don't remember telling you about that. Washing machine? Nah. Must have the wrong person. Wasn't me. I can tell you that I remember everything. I've got a very good mind. And I can see things. I saw Halley's Comet with bare eyes. I've got strange eyes. I'm able to see near. I need long distance glasses. But then I can see strange things in the sky as well. Like maybe there's a block in between the middle or something. Maybe I'm short vision, but I'm long vision and not long vision. Because I think there's different spectrums of vision, just as there's different spectrums of light. And if you think about it, your eyes are just a projector, but they're also a screen and they're a magic mirror. The windows to your soul is your eyes. And your soul is contained in your blood. So this is a several-pronged attack. This is poison the soul by putting stuff in the blood through the water, hijacking the nervous system, the claustrum, the back, the pineal, And then it is rewriting the code for your DNA, for your blood, for your soul, which is also your consciousness, because it's all operated through your own wiring, which is your blood and your veins. And they hijack that and then activate everything through the lights. Now, this nano, a tiny, teeny weeny little speck of it, can grow the length of an arm in 5 seconds if the lights are put on. It's also about being cold. So they like to make your house cold. Don't know why. Maybe it's these things need to be cold outside and then they're activated inside your body at body temperature, possibly. But the lights, as I say, are the problem. From my estimations anyway. And so, if you're a targeted individual, you really want to look at the lights of your house. I've actually had success putting broken light bulbs in the lights to stop them being able to cook me through the lights. It's all through the lights. And the TVs have a light. All of your extension leads have a little light. Boilers have a little light. A microwave light doesn't look any different to a normal light. And you can do many versions of microwave lights. If all electricity and lights are operating on wireless technology, which is what I think is happening, then all little lights will also take instructions through the laser weapons that are encoded with code that are being directed at our houses by the neighbors, etc. So this is the smart grid. This is the smart beasts system. Who is the beast? Who is great like the beast? I follow God. And I don't want to be taken over, thank you. I want my own land. I want my freedom. I don't want to be cooked alive in my home, and I don't want my mind wiped. I don't want my phone taking a scan of my brain every 2 seconds, thank you. I don't want someone knowing every step I take by measuring it through Apple's phones, because Apple have built phones so that, you know, they can watch me and listen to me, and I'm accessible to the child trafficking and the child eaters, blood drinking, psychopath mob. And it's like a mafia mob. They've taken over, took the roles of kings and stuff and pretended that they are important people, but they're not. They're not the elected kings. These are hijacked everything. All right, so one of the other things you can do is you can put out the window tinting for cars in your windows. Blackout window tinting. It's so cheap. It's worth buying. Just try it. If you make a mistake with one of the sheets, then you can always throw it in the bin. So buy a few rolls of it and try it out. And also you can get the roll-up blackout blind, and you can make that to measure and then stick it up with Velcro stickers up against the windows when you are under attack. And spray your light bulb silver, and if possible disconnect the lights. The lamps, if you're targeted, will have been meddled with, so you will need to shield yourself from those lamps. Because they also want to wipe your mind and cook you. They do. I'm not joking. That's how you wipe a computer. That's how they're going to do this. And I'm here to warn you. Alright, it's Ayesha from godfm, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as godfm News, godfm New, godfm Radio, godfm Group, and godfm Media. You can email me admin@godfm.org.uk, no, godfm.uk, beg your pardon, and you can WhatsApp me, +44 777 35 77788. I don't know how long I'll have WhatsApp for. Because the child eaters, the blood drinkers, and the psychopath pedophiles doing the home invasions have cloned my number and taken over the network connected to it, and therefore WhatsApp. And every time I use WhatsApp, I have problems with my phone. Alright, have a great day. Take care.